this is Marianne from New Journeys Counselling. So if it looks a bit strange, it's because I'm sitting on a beanbag, but I just thought, you know, something different from me just sitting in a chair, sitting on the floor. So anyway, this video is about, well, there's a lot of videos out there which talk about depression. So if you type the word depression into YouTube or anywhere really, Google, there'll be a lot of information and videos about that. And as a counsellor, I also work with a lot of people who have either got diagnosed depression, so they've been diagnosed by a doctor, or they feel they have depression. But I'm not here to talk about that today. What I want to talk about is for those people who feel low or down, or just, you know, not themselves, or just out of sorts, really. Now, that could mean they don't have depression, but they're just having a low period, you know, going through. I myself kind of go through ups and downs with every sort of maybe 3 to 6 months. I have this, like, I can't really describe it, but it's like when you feel really low, where just you're not focused, you're distracted, you're not eating as well as you could be. So I wouldn't call it depression because you kind of get yourself out of it, but at that point it does feel really like you're, it just feels like you're not yourself, and whatever you try and do, you can't get out of it. So what I want to do is, based on my own like feelings when that happens to me, but also for people watching who may go through this a lot as well, just want to give a few tips really and a bit of advice. So when you go through those stages, sometimes it could be as a result of something that's happening. So in my case, I was having a lot of work put on me, which I couldn't, you know, feasibly do. I was up, you know, till midnight sometimes typing away, and I still wasn't getting done as much as I wanted to. Then I was waking up early, so lack of sleep, workload, and I think problems with my car, finances, everything was going on, you know, I'd say over this particular week, and I just felt like giving up, quitting the work I was doing. I felt like, oh, just not making any effort. Now, what stopped me from kind of just quitting and just giving into this feeling was the fact that I knew it was temporary. I knew that this isn't my usual mode of operation. I'm always positive. I'd say 90% of the time I'm happy and positive, optimistic. That 10% of the time, it doesn't take me long to get back to being who I am. And what I used, the methods I use are, I continuously do my affirmations and my meditation. That is like part of my life now. Every single morning I do affirmations, meditations, get myself ready for the day ahead. So when you do that, even when you're feeling low, it means you've got that, it's just something that's part of you. So even though you don't believe the affirmations, maybe when you're in your low mood, you're still continuing to do them. So what I would say is continue with your normal routine and incorporate positive things into your daily routine, just so that you've got that as backup. The second thing I would say is to recognise that it's a temporary situation, recognise that this isn't going to last forever. With depression, obviously you need to get a diagnosis, that's one thing, but also depression can be, you know, continue for years and years. Even with medication, you can have your ups and your downs. When you're feeling low, if you're normally an optimistic person, or if it's out of character for you, then just when you say to yourself, this is temporary, you know, I'm feeling like this now, but in a few hours I'll be back to me, in a few days I'll be back to normal. If I just get to the root of what's happening, everything will be fine. It kind of gives you that light at the end of the tunnel, really, knowing that you're not going to stay feeling in this way. That's the worst thing that you can do, is to give in to that feeling when you're down. Just say, well, that's it, I'm giving up. Because once you do that, it can lead to something more, so it can actually then lead to depression. But if you just say to yourself, you know, this isn't how I normally am, this isn't who I am, I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to, you know, get myself back to who I am. Okay? So another tip which I would say is just don't sit in the house or sit by yourself, worrying, analysing, stressing. Just get out there, interact with people, go and see family, go for a walk, do anything just to stop yourself from sitting and thinking. The worst thing you can do when you're feeling down, depressed, low, or anything like that, is to sit and think over and over and over again. because your thoughts are not going to be positive at that time, they're going to be negative. So thinking negative thoughts over and over again is never going to lead to anything positive. It's only going to make you feel worse. So knowing that means you go do something different, which is to go and, you know, watch a funny film with someone, laugh, you know, put on some music. Certain things I do is to just do some yoga, put on my favourite song, dance about. Because I live on my own, I can get away with quite a few things, actually silly things sometimes. You know, I'll create my own like restaurant, even though it's just me eating alone around my dining table. Just be silly, you know, sometimes I'll dance, you know, sing, whatever it takes to get you out of that low mood, just do it. Don't worry about what it looks like, what it feels like, just do what, you know, what helps. So I would say they're the key things, really. Recognise that it's temporary and that yoga things are going to improve. Do something silly, fun, don't sit and think about it, and continue with your normal routine, you know, and make that routine a positive one so that you can revert back to it and so that you're always going to have something to pick you back up when you're down. So I hope you found this video useful. I'm going to be doing lots of videos on YouTube and putting some of them on Facebook as well. So if you find them interesting, drop me a line. Tell me if there's anything particular you want me to do a video about. I tend to do videos related to either my own personal experiences as a counsellor or my professional, the types of issues that might come up for people. So just let me know and I'll make sure I try and do a video on anything you find interesting. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.